The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we love to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, I was talking to one of my subscribers yesterday, and I said, you know what? The worst thing that we could do is go blow out 2,900 today at the open with a big gap higher. And the most bullish thing we could do is gap lower. And it would seem almost counterintuitive. But today is options, the start of options rollover. That happens on the Wednesday, the week before options expiration, which is going to be on the 16th. Normally, the low of today, or the close of today, 80% of the time is that 16th will be above today's closing price. I don't know if there's a great deal more to be had in the indexes above this, maybe 29, 25, something like that. I think that a lot of the downtrodden stocks have seen the lows, and probably the lows for the year. That may be a lot of people leaving them scratching their heads. But I'm going to have to see some earnings that really get impacted that I don't see, like a tooth, impacted tooth. I don't know what that is. I've never had one, thank God. But the impact I don't see. My thought is that this was headed up to 2,900 before we got the little rug pull in the morning. But I dropped to my knees and kissed the ground because there was about 3 stocks that I wanted to buy long term. And I was able to get into them not long after the open this morning. And I thought that probably I'd missed them and that I wasn't going to get the pullback. But I'm back in them, and we've made lots of money in the past with them and some other things. We've got some other games going on. But remember, this is options expiration, and not the day that it expires, but the day that they go delta neutral. And they need to have a huge range in the stocks to get everything they need on and off. This is like an arms dealer selling to both sides so that it goes to a draw. But that's basically what delta neutral is. They don't want a lot of exposure in the next 7 days after today in the options market. So they'll do whatever they need. If they've got to put on one side, they'll buy the stock on the other. They'll do whatever it takes to try to make sure that they run the clock out for themselves, not necessarily in the option itself, but for them. They just want to make sure that they have the spread, if you ever bet football, wide enough, or the VIG, if you ever bet on football, big enough to take care of any kind of anomalous event. I just didn't see a whole lot in there, but the pattern has been when you have these huge moves off the bottom like we did the last day or so, is to have a head fake pullback. So we got that. We got options expiration that started with the options, and the first 15 minutes that options were open, 98% of them were puts. Everybody was sure that the market was headed lower, and maybe the best signal I ever have seen for saying that you're within an hour or two of a big low. Again, I'm not really thinking that the indexes are going to have a great deal of payback. I think they're going higher. But I think that there's some sectors out there that were absolute gifts in the morning. And even some stocks I've talked about last week, we were able to buy, and they're higher than our purchase price. And I've wanted to be in these things for maybe 6 months or something, and just never gotten the opportunity. But guess what? Came back, got a 618 retracement on one, and not just on a kind of a short time frame, but I mean like on a year time frame. And I mean, it was either the stock was going up or that was it. Now, gave me a little heart attack this morning, but was able to pile back on. Also, I am not a big fan of margin, but I felt like I almost had aces at 10 a.m. this morning. I had already decided that this was a hill that I was willing to die on. And for most everything I have, I went on margin. And I probably only do that maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year. And about twice a year, it ends up being kind of a draw. I generally put in my stops for any of those extra shares I have on margin for the day at break even. And the rest, I just generally let them ride until the end of the day. Gives me a little extra money so I can have a little better stop. I don't think that I'm going to retire on the money, but it does, especially in volatile markets like this, allow me to know that I've gotten a little bit better entry price by being able to stay long a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger line on the stock, where the odds of having a up move are just that good. And we'll look at some of the other stuff, but I mean, everything was telling me at least one stock that we bought at the close yesterday was going higher. And is it a big deal? No, but I like the stock. So I'm kind of feeling kind of good. I know a lot of people are going to continue feeling rather bearish for a while. I think we're going to have a good push back up. And then September, October, I think the summertime blues will be over. I don't know if we have the kind of, juice to blow out the 3,000 level on the S&P cash and go to the moon. But I think we're kind of probably bullish for the rest of the year. I think everybody's kind of over the fact that they're not going to get instant resolution of tariffs. They're not going to get instant resolution of the rest of the issues with China or everywhere else, or the bonds or everything. And they're probably going to go back to looking at earnings. So we'll see how those do. We'll talk about some stocks with earnings after the bell tonight, some that we had this morning, and we'll take a look at them. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Oh, we got a little bit more time. Off just 5 on the S&P cash, off 83 on the Dow. NASDAQ's already up 14. Russell's just down 4 as we speak. And what are we looking at that dollar out there? Pretty much flat, not much volatility in it. Volume for the day so far, 5.4. So about the same as we've had up and down. 5.4 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated name.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Down 9 on the S&P cash, 114 on the Dow. Nasdaq's down 6 now, and the Russell I still show down 4. Let me check that out. Yeah, still says 4 here. Okay, so what else do we have going on? Well, let's do a little history, and then we'll move on with the rest of the shoe.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1964, the United States Congress overwhelmingly approves the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, giving President Lyndon B. Johnson nearly unlimited powers to oppose communist aggression in South Asia. The resolution marked the beginning of an expanded military role for the United States in the Cold War battlefields of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Of course, the famous domino theory of what was going on and how far they would move. And now we've got 3 of those countries as giant forces for capitalism instead of the communism. Unfortunately, in this country, we've got a lot of people that are still under the misimpression that communism and it's slightly, I'd say 0.1% less evil version socialism, never goes too far. Just look at the growth of Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and all these other countries when they've adopted capitalism, manufacturing, all the rest of the stuff. And, of course, we have wonderful places in this country that curse capitalism. We all know what kind of places those are. On this day in 1964. What else is going on in the market? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at Disney. Did not have this up? I thought I had it up. Okay. Disney after hours last night. They are going to be launching their service. I think it was about $14. They missed a little bit, not too much. But last night, everybody was looking at the glass half empty, not half full. So you got to keep an eye on that. What else do we have? Let's keep an eye on everything out here. Just have to keep close eye. Down, the volume is about what it was yesterday. You're going back into an 11 million share May 13th low, 22 million. They missed on basically what they said was Fox movies. One of the reasons I continue to tell everybody I hate being in media stocks like Disney or the rest is it's always feast or famine. And maybe the best thing is you should just treat media companies like you would a commodity. They're either a bull market or a bear market. And it doesn't take but a few movies to be giant stinkers like Walt Disney sees today to actually put a hitch in your get along. That's Midwest talk for a problem. What else are we out there? GWPH. WPH, the one single legal marijuana stock, cannabis stock, up on 17.5 million shares today. Pretty nice move. It didn't hold the highs, but it certainly didn't hold the lows either today. Nice, huge range. I don't know if that tick down at 156 is real, but we'll see later tonight on it. It does look rather interesting to me, though. You've pulled back fairly significantly. You are basically at the support levels where this thing gapped up on the 27th of February at the beginning of the year. That was up on 2.5 million shares. So a couple of days ago, you hit this with under 1 million shares. Yesterday, 800,000 shares. So the pop-up on earnings, a little bit telegraphed. I probably wouldn't have jumped on it, but a nice pop in this one. Maybe fill half that gap on light volume if you're really interested in marijuana stocks. The one that's actually legal might be one that is almost a virtual monopoly. As they say, the one-eyed man in the land of the blind is king. Maybe the only legal stock out here is the one you want to be in if you're into marijuana. What else is happening? We looked at that. After the bell tonight, Roku, R-O-K-U, these guys have done everything in the world to get into television shows. I'm unsure if they're actually ever going to really make the kind of money that everybody wants to say. They are ubiquitous by basically giving everybody a lot of money to put themselves in their TVs. I just don't know. And again, I haven't been short it or long since it came out. I've just always been very nervous about this one, acting very much like GoPro and others of its ilk. And that is, there's a great story on it. I don't know if that story comes through. No one ever tells me, oh, I've got a Roku and I love it. They may have a Roku, but it's certainly they're not in love with it. I don't hear much about it. That generally always kind of sets off a little bit of an alarm in my head. One of the other questions we have is on Micron and ET. We'll go to ET first, then we'll take a look at Micron's intraday. Energy Transfer Partners. I hate, if it's got an LP behind it, I treat it like it's got Ebola. That's the first part of it. These limited partnerships are a way to steal money, in my opinion, from everybody that they sell these things to. They almost always sell them after the market crests and sell it to people that think that they want some kind of long term. I do dislike these extremely, almost as bad as exchange traded notes. Exchange traded notes may even be one tick below limited partnerships, in my opinion. Not a fan. I would rather have a full unlimited partnership than a limited one. Generally, it's buying a pig and a poke. Now, if we just look at the chart and get away from my feelings, gapped up on the 4th of January with 22.3 million shares, getting into that with about 13.5 million so far. So is it that bad? The answer is no. I'd much rather look at things like the OIH and other vehicles for trading. But I don't think that these things are pretty much stopped going down until about 50, maybe even 45. But I think we're just in a long-term trading range with maybe 60 at the high and 45 at the low for oil going forward for a long time. I know a lot of people, you haven't looked at the natural gas. I don't have time right now. We'll look at that when we come back. Historically, you do get some kind of lows in here at the end of August for natural gas. And that may even tell you a little bit about what crude's doing, too, and whether or not they even bother to try to sell natural gas now. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And just brought up SQM, and the question is whether or not this thing has made any kind of low yet. I don't see it. These guys, of course, supply lithium for lithium-ion batteries. Although Chile has been the major supplier of this, we've seen more supply come on from both China and Australia that have really kind of tamped down the pressure. We also did not see anything close to the kind of acceleration in Tesla for electric cars. Now, we've got some 100 electric cars coming on in the next year, but I don't know if that volume is going to be anything to write home about? Most of the car manufacturers are saying there isn't that big of demand for electric cars just yet, but everybody's screaming about them, but not that many people are buying them. And because of government regulations here in the United States, everybody's going to have one to sell, but probably never going to be a real big money maker. Therefore, they're probably not going to push them, other than the fact that every one they sell allows them to make a lot of money on a big SUV that they can sell now because of government regulations. We know that the government knows all, sees all, and is infinitely wise. Of course, that is me being a bit disingenuous. What else did I have out here? We were going to talk about looking at natural gas to see if there's anything else out here too. When you look at UGas or some of these others, I really don't see anything else out here that says crude is getting ready to turn. Like I said, I think you could see a potential for $45 crude this fall. They just keep pumping it as much as they can in the United States. And of course, without having so many offshore drill rigs now, much lower liability as to whether or not, they're going to have to, destroy the Gulf again, like BP did. So, not very good for offshore developers. You've got a little bit out here in UGas to tell you that you're close. You really need to close back around $12.97 to get back into the trading range, kind of underneath that. Again, we're on the 7th. We've got about another week to 2 weeks before the seasonal low comes in on natural gas. If that starts moving higher around the 1st of September, that may be the road to get on. But that's the bullish there. What else do we have? Energy transfer partners. No, I do not like LPs, and no, I don't like crude here going forward. I think it's going to be cheaper for a while. Now we're down 5. Pretty whippy market, but again, not a surprise the day that options market makers go delta neutral for expiration on the 16th. Of course, it's basically a whole mathematical game. There's data that goes back 20 years on it. They found out that the last day that they want to have any kind of liability and exposure is the Wednesday, the week before options expire. And, what they want to do is have enough chum in the water to get the fish biting. And it's if it's a gap down, a lot of times you'll see options expiration be just the opposite by the close. And that is, if it was down a whole lot, then it's either mitigated that or even gone higher. I would not be surprised if we close 5 or 10 points higher by the end of the day. The other thing is kind of interesting is that we're out of fund buying, and wasn't all that exciting. I'm thinking, and a lot of people have asked why I think I'm pretty much fairly bullish through and for a while. And that is because the money that was coming out of the bond market from the Fed, that $30 billion a month, is now going to go into the stock market. And I've got to sneeze. And I'm back from sneezing. That money is going to go into the stock market. I can't see it going into the bond market. I can't see it going into treasuries, negative interest rates. It's going to go somewhere. It's going to go into the housing market. It's going to go into gold. It's going to go into housing. It's going to go somewhere other than bonds. And that gives us enough, probably a net positive $10 billion cash flow back into the market until they start pulling that cash out again. And I don't think they're going to do it before the beginning of the year. I think in fact, I think I said it last week. I think this is a much bigger part. Everybody wanted that 0.5% rate cut. I think for the stock market, it has a lot. That is a much bigger issue than the the quarter point that we didn't get that everybody was praying for. But you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. We had a question come in about Micron. There was a dip in the market at 1 o'clock. That dip came with news that Japan and South Korea have mended some fences on importation of memory chips from Japan. Well, there's only a couple of companies in Japan that are really that big in memory chips, and all of them are what I would call commodity chips. When we talk about companies like Micron and Samsung that are in South Korea, the companies that are making money in memory aren't making commodity memory chips. They're making VRAM chips for video boards for like NVIDIA and AMD. These things are fairly expensive. They're huge, or I won't call them huge, but they're extremely good margin products. The stuff that's going to come out of the old Toshiba foundries in Japan is going to be the cheapest stuff with little or no margin. So I don't, you see these headlines hit. It takes a little while for the market to go back and figure everything out. But, to put somebody else's chips in, you need to get a redesign. You need to get a bunch of other stuff happen. And the contracts run a fairly long time with these chips. So I'm not really thinking that anything happened, both in the semiconductor space and specifically for the question from Steve about Micron. And, of course, you can email me at path@tfnn.com, too. But, again, you're off a little bit. Yeah, can they, on a day like this and a thin markets with everybody nervous, can they run the market? Is this a non-story in 3 days or even 2 days or maybe 1 day? I would say yes. So don't get too excited. Micron, pretty nice retest of a couple of days ago, and that's about it. Did we look at Disney? We looked at Disney. Wanted to look at Apple. I always worry when the CEO of Apple runs around spouting off about everything other than making a new product that actually sells. He occasionally does this, and it's generally a bridge so that he doesn't get walloped by people from Wall Street. So when I hear him talking about politics or things that don't involve him actually making a new product that people want, I'm always a little nervous. We'll be back.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you'd like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And another question coming in via email at path@tfnn.com is, do we have a 3-gap play set up in the TLT? And the answer is, if I got one more gap, I would buy every out-of-the-money put that would fit in my trading portfolio with standard risk management. So the answer is yes. We kind of rotated back a little bit. We get one more gap out here, and that would tell you that on the failure of that top, we'd race back to about 137. So we shall see. I think there's enough pressure on both the U.S. governments and the China governments to actually maybe get something done now. China's got a lot of problems. They've been able to paper over them, but certainly the specter of tariffs may focus the minds of those negotiating in the first part of September. Like I said, I'm actually fairly bullish, even though that I don't expect a trade deal to happen overnight or even into September, as that bond money flows back into the stock market, especially for those stocks that have fairly decent values, not the insane values. Question coming in about Tesla. And, of course, you can call me at 877-927-6648. If anything happened, well, you got exactly where you wanted to pull the trigger short. If you did, you gapped down, but you've done nothing really go sideways. What you would love to see is Tesla come up to $250 on very light volume, maybe 255, and maybe pull the trigger somewhere around there if volume remains very light in shorting. What else do we have? I wanted to look at some of the earnings after the bell tonight. We looked at Roku, Priceline, which is now known as Booking.com, which drives me insane. I don't know why they did this, and I hate them for it. I want to call it Booking. I want to call it Priceline, but we cannot. Anyway, nice reversal today, back off this gap, which goes to the June 7th. That had 337,000 shares, got about 283,000 shares, so not that much. Of course, earnings out after the bell, but I think probably the best you could look at is maybe 1850. The question is what they say about how much money they're going to lose. Brexit has always been a big issue for these companies, and Expedia too. We'll look at it next. But the dirty little secret of these companies is how much money they make renting cars and doing everything other than booking you a low-cost flight. Once you get the flight, they try to get the hotel, rental cars, excursions. They make a ton of money in that. They make very little on the hotel, and not that much on the flight either. So they're really trying to sell all the auxiliary things that come along with a trip, especially a European vacation, which they make a ton of money on compared to American vacations. So if it is an issue with Brexit and getting around, with passports and all the other stuff, I could see how Booking.com could do it. So 1850, if they have happy thoughts, I would not be surprised to see this thing open up at $1,670, where this gap is from the 4th. If they come out and start telling everybody the sky is falling, I do think it's happening. I just don't think that it'll drop down there without them actually saying something like the end is nigh. Edward Lawrence, he was very good in a lot of those movies in the 60s and 70s. Really loved him with the one about the what was the name of that? Where he was the hitman, 1963, about trying to bump off the French president. Maybe someone will tell me that. I kind of vaguely remember. God, what was the name of that movie? I really liked it. Yeah, someone will tell me. What else? Oh, we were looking at Booking.com. What else do we have? Skyworks Solutions. Look for Apple to move a little bit on this tomorrow. We're going to read on what they're saying that they're going to be selling into Apple in the coming future. Again, like I said earlier, I'm worried every time Steve Cook opens his mouth and starts talking about political issues instead of building a new product that someone wants. He said, I'm going to say 7 failed products and 1 product that's fairly good, but it was on the agenda even before Steve Jobs left, and that was the EarPods. That's got to be the one successful new product that they've had. And again, all they had to do was wait until the battery technology and some of the other stuff came along, not new. So I'm going to ask him to probably quit blowing so much and start coming up with a new product. But what we're going to see here in Skyworks Solutions, SWKS, after the bell, is a good read on what is going forward. And I, like I said, always worry when CEOs get involved in stuff that doesn't have something to do with making more money. More money, more money. What else do we have? Lyft. Of course, these failed IPOs are coming out for really their first decent view of what's going on behind the curtains. I got a little bounce up here today. Again, these stocks are very thin in the fact that there's not that many of the shares that are sitting on the shelf that are actually available for trading in both Lyft and Uber. You got a nice move out here today, but I think that has a lot more to do with the market itself. Another one that has been crushed over time, STMP. STMP. Stamps.com also out after the bell. Of course, talk about 2 huge gaps and waiting for a third. I wouldn't touch this with a 20-foot pole because you've got 2 big gaps. I'm waiting for the third. I don't know if it'll be tonight after the bell, but if you're looking for stocks that have the potential to blow up, this one would. Of course, if you looked at the option for these things, they are pricing it or pricing them like there is a chance that they go out of business. Don't be surprised to see the last big gap down in Stamps. And with some consolidation, you might actually have a buy down there. But I don't know exactly how losing the contract with USPS is going to affect them long term. I'd have to really do some digging to figure it back in. Till this thing gets the third gap, not even worth looking at, on my opinion. Also, after the bell tonight, we've got 3D Systems, Shutterfly, Zillow Group, NetEase, Marathon Oil Company, CenturyLink, and others. We'll get to the ones we can in the time allotted.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back to here. A lot of other stocks out after the bell. Just wanted to get to them. AAOI. Optoelectronics, this thing, of course, has been languishing down here, but this one may be ready to turn around here in the next few months. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Alba Marley, this, of course, is another one of the lithium stocks coming out after the bell. Nice little bounce in this one today, but you've got a little bit too much volume in the last couple of days for me. Energy on the way down to much too much energy. As we said, also 3D Systems out after the bell. This one, nice 10% test of volume of the June 11th. If this thing starts moving the other way after hours, you might want to, if you play after hour stock, might be a fairly fast mover out here. But certainly, if you're looking for light volume off a previous high and light volume of a previous low, that June 11th low, you've got it all. I probably won't do anything with it, but fairly interesting. Other big movers after the bell are going to be Fossil. This thing tends to have some wicked moves because everybody's so miserably short this thing. Meli, M-E-L-I, another stock that is massively shorted it for most of the time. This one has basically two very decent gaps in it. If this one had a third, I would look at shorting that one as another 3-gap play to the upside. Talked about stamps.com and Skyworks Solution. We also have Trip Advisors. This thing is back to very long-term support, so probably not a lot of downside. I don't know if there's any upside to it, but probably wouldn't be shorting this one, although it's stock Trip sector will be moving tonight. So when you can, not when you have to. See you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.